called my wife while I was putting sheets on, and someone else answered the phone.
Why he had purchased a new mattress.
But this is a truth verification machine. We got some concerns about this mattress thing.
Mark, what's wrong? And he said, Thelma, Lori went jogging and she never came back.
And of course, that makes me look guilty. I don't think I want to take it.
In today's episode, we've got a story that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about people. It's about a young woman who went for a morning jog and never returned. This case made international headlines and became known as Salt Lake City's most high-profile disappearance. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered a series of lies, secrets, and a dark double life that no one could have ever imagined. You see, on the morning of July the 19th, 2004, Mark Hacking's world shifted into a dark and gloomy space. Mark woke up late and realized his wife Lori was already gone. He thought she had left early for her morning run in Memory Grove, but when he called her office, he found out she never arrived. Mark got worried and called the police, but they told him he had to wait 24 hours before they could help. Feeling desperate, Mark went to look for Lori himself. He found her car parked where she normally left it during her runs, but she was nowhere to be found. Her friends and family joined in the search, but there was no sign of her. The police brought in search dogs and helicopters, but they couldn't find any clues either. As the investigation progressed, some women came forward with unsettling stories about encounters with suspicious men in Memory Grove. This led to a disturbing theory that someone might have kidnapped Lori. Lori's disappearance was heartbreaking because she and Mark were about to start a new chapter in their lives. They were childhood sweethearts, and Mark had just finished his master's degree. They were planning to move to North Carolina, where Mark had been accepted into medical school. They were even expecting a baby. Conflicting witness statements complicated the case. One neighbor said they saw Lori's car in front of their apartment building early in the morning, while another neighbor saw it still there later. This added to the confusion and made it harder for the investigators to piece together what had happened. Flyers were distributed around the city, hoping someone might have seen something. But as the hours ticked by, the mystery deepened. Mark's grief was evident as he shared his account with the police. Despite the overwhelming emotions, he did his best to provide them with any information that could help find Lori. Now, after this, the investigators turned their attention to Mark, hoping he could provide some answers. However, his explanations only added to the confusion. Mark claimed that Lori's car was already gone when he woke up, which made it hard for them to understand what had happened. As is often the case, the spouse becomes a suspect in such situations, but it was difficult to find a motive for Mark to harm Lori. People close to the couple, such as Lori's co-workers and her mother, spoke highly of their relationship, describing them as a happy and loving couple. Mark was known for his affectionate gestures, like sending flowers to Lori at work. But you see, there were some strange things that happened on the day Lori went missing. Mark bought a new mattress for their bedroom in the morning, which seemed unusual. Later that day, Mark was brought in for questioning. During the ride to the police station, he made a comment that Lori would be upset with him. When asked to explain, Mark mentioned that if they ever found her, she would be angry because he hadn't gone running with her. At the police station, he repeated his story to an officer. He explained that Lori had woken up early and left for work after showering, while he remained in bed. When he woke up later, he assumed that she had already gone to work. Mark went about his day, even buying a new mattress around 9 a.m. While putting sheets on the bed, he felt like Lori was there, but someone else answered the phone around 10 a.m. It was a work call, not his personal phone, and the caller asked if Lori was okay. Mark didn't know, and the caller informed him that Lori hadn't arrived at work. Now, you see, at first, Mark agreed to take a CVSA test, or the Computer Video Stress Analysis, to verify the information gathered so far. However, he expressed hesitation and concerns about the test.
And of course, that makes me look guilty.
It's not admissible in court anyway.
Now, that really shows something was wrong around him, right? Well, the cops sensed this and they went forward and searched the apartment shared by Mark and Lori. The police were called to examine the dumpster outside the parking lot. Mark's brother joined him and asked why the police were there. Mark replied saying that the police were nervous because he had bought a new mattress and wanted to get away. However, the police didn't find anything suspicious in the dumpster. As the search for Lori continued, Mark's behavior became ever stranger. Several hours after Lori went missing, there was a disturbance at a hotel half a mile away from their apartment. The police were called again at 2 a.m. and found Mark running through the hotel naked. When Mark's brother arrived at the hotel, he discovered a surprising message on Mark's handheld computer. The message said, "From Mark, this is justice. I'm so sorry." And someone was reading it out loud to everyone. Following this incident, Mark's family decided to check him into a psychiatric unit for help. An FBI profiler named Candice DeLong commented on the situation, saying that he kept his shoes on and his sandals, and that's not something we usually see in someone who's truly psychotic. Some people stated that Mark might have been pretending to be crazy on purpose, hoping to be hospitalized. Well, it turned out that Mark had been living a double life. While his family believed that he was a diligent student, preparing for medical school by studying and writing papers, the truth was far different. Mark had never been accepted into any university, and he had dropped out of school altogether. All the books and papers he had displayed were part of an elaborate scheme to deceive everyone. Instead of attending classes or studying, Mark spent his time hanging out at a store near his home, drinking soda, eating hot dogs, and smoking. He told the store employees that he was a therapist and asked him to keep his smoking a secret from Lori, but this was just one of Mark's many lies. He also told Lori's mother how he worked in a prestigious institute, running therapy sessions, when in reality, he was just a healthcare assistant and a hospital orderly organizing group activities. The revelation of Mark's lies shocked both families, who believed in their happiness and success. People started speculating that Mark created these elaborate lies because he felt pressurized by his accomplished family members. Although Mark admitted to lying about his education, he denied having any knowledge about what happened to Lori. The last time she was seen for sure was at a convenience store on Sunday evening before she disappeared. Surveillance footage showed her and Mark seemingly fine. However, Mark was seen buying cigarettes after 1 a.m., but Lori wasn't with him. However, investigators found something unsettling. Yes, the new mattress. Mark claimed they'd thrown out the old mattress because Lori had bled on it due to her menstrual cycle, but the investigators found it suspicious that the top part of the mattress had been cut out. Also, they closely examined Lori's car, where they made disturbing findings. The seat and mirrors had been adjusted for someone much bigger than Lori, and there were bloodstains in the back seat. It was a chilling indication that someone else had driven the car, leaving behind traces of a grim incident. The investigation led them to search Mark's apartment, where they uncovered even more unsettling clues. Lori's personal items like her purse, keys, and wallet were found, suggesting that she hadn't left for her usual run as initially thought. But it was inside the bedroom that the most secrets were revealed. Blood spots were found on the headboard and nightstand, and something significant was found in the nightstand drawer, a sheathed knife. Mark, who was present during the search, nervously laughed it off, claiming it was just an old scout knife. However, the officers noticed a possible blood spot on the blade along with a fingerprint. This discovery led to a more thorough search, and Mark was asked to leave the apartment. It became evident that Mark was now a prime suspect in Lori's disappearance. But that was not the end. On July the 24th, 5 days after Lori went missing, Mark's family confronted him about her whereabouts. Eventually, Mark confessed, revealing a bone-chilling story that led Lori's family to publicly announce the halt of the search. The reason for Mark's confession at that point remains unclear. Mark admitted that on the evening of July the 18th, he and Lori had had a heated argument about his deceitful double life, the web of lies he had spun, and their upcoming move. Colleagues recalled seeing Lori in tears on July the 16th, just days before her disappearance. On that day, during a farewell gathering, Lori tried to confirm Mark's enrollment at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, but she discovered that he had never enrolled. This revelation deeply upset her, and she left work early. He had lied about contacting the university administrator to cover his tracks, but it was all a fabrication. Eventually, she confronted him, and 2 neighbors testified to hearing a disturbing altercation on the night of July the 18th. One neighbor heard loud screams, while another heard a male voice shouting, "It's all over." According to Mark's account, Lori went to bed, and he stayed up playing video games for about an hour. Then he retrieved his .22 rifle from their packed belongings, entered the bedroom, and shot Lori in the head while she slept. Mark meticulously disposed of her body, the murder weapon, and the blood-soaked mattress by placing them in different dumpsters. Surveillance footage from the convenience store showed Mark alone at 1:30 a.m., raising suspicions about whether he was getting rid of evidence or preparing to commit the heinous act. In the footage, he can be seen examining his hands and checking his watch, possibly searching for traces of blood. The next day, Mark bought a new mattress in an attempt to hide the stains. Anyway, Lori's remains were found in the landfills, and Mark was sentenced in 2005 to 30 years in prison. Now, this was a case that truly baffled the investigators, and I would say it was God's hand that really played out in the end, especially those bloodstains. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do drop your views in the comments section below. We'll meet again in the next episode. Until then, stay tuned.